And how will India's membership benefit India? Why does India wants to join SCO? India is one of the largest energy consuming countries. And now that we are part of the SCO, we will be getting access to major gas and oil exploration projects in Central Asia. Our relations with the Central Asian countries will be benefited, boosted. And when Central Asian countries are having this kind of energy projects and pipelines and all, India can be a part of that. And now another idea of Russia or another initiative of Russia is to bring Iran to SCO. So again, Iran is a country which is against the United States. So if Iran becomes a part of SCO, SCO will be getting access to the world's maximum oil and gas resource. Again, Russia is having a lot of oil and natural gas resources. Again, Iran is a major country. Then you have Central Asia. So again, that will be highly beneficial for India. And this will give Iran a platform to challenge the US. And even Russia and China doesn't mind about that. So this will be, but when Iran becomes a member of SCO, SCO will be seen as a platform to challenge the US. And that could be problematic for India. But at the same time, when it comes to our energy security, SCO can offer a lot to India. So energy security is one thing that we can mention. Then another area is when it comes to the fight against terrorism, SCO will be really, really beneficial to India. India can use SCO to hold Islamabad or Pakistan accountable on the issue of terrorism. So India can use SCO initiatives like RATS and all to humiliate Pakistan as well as to isolate Pakistan, to make Pakistan accountable on the issue of terrorism. So India can submit proofs of Pakistani backing of terrorists and all to SCO bodies. Combating terrorism, extremism and separatism, the three evils. Combating three evils is the main priority of SCO, and these three evils that are being mentioned by the SCO are terrorism, extremism and separatism. And three of the major countries in SCO, India, China and Russia, are basically victims of radical Islamic terrorism. In India, you have a territory called Kashmir in which there is a radical Islamic terrorism. Again, in China you have Xinjiang, where there is radical Islamic terrorism. In Russia you have Chechnya. So there will be a major cooperation between these countries with respect to terrorism, extremism and separatism. And recently, one thing that really ruined the relationship between China and Pakistan was that abduction and murder of 2 Chinese teachers happened in the Balochistan province of China. So China had close contacts with many of the Pakistani-based terror groups. It supported many of the Pakistani-based terror groups. But now it is getting a taste of its own medicine. And terrorism is increasingly, even in China, terrorism is being seen as a negative-sum game. See, the countries which are perpetrating terrorism or countries which are terrorism is being against, everybody will be hurt by terrorism. And now China will be building these sort of massive projects in Pakistan, and which will be affected by the Pakistani-based terrorism. And now again China will be forced to take actions against Pakistani-based terror networks. So recently, Pakistan made a house arrest against many of the major terrorist leaders in Pakistan. And many have said that this was due to the fact that Donald Trump became the president of US and he has often taken a hardline stand against Pakistan. But the major newspaper in Pakistan, Dawn, reported that this was due to Chinese pressure. The US doesn't have that kind of an influence over Pakistan right now, but China has that kind of an influence over Pakistan. It is a major ally of the Pakistani military establishment and all. So RATS will be a game changer in India's fight against terrorism. And that is why even from 2010 onwards, India has always been trying to be a member of SCO. And how will it affect India-Pakistan relations? See, when we discussed about India-Pakistan relations, I immediately said that SCO will be a major factor in India-Pakistan relations. So now, under the ambit of SCO, all SCO member countries will be having joint military exercises. So India and Pakistan will be having joint military exercises along with other SCO member countries under the RATS. So imagine having a military exercise between India and Pakistan along with other SCO member countries. So this can sort of improve the coordination between the India and Pakistan militaries. And this will establish a communication between New Delhi and the Rawalpindi general headquarters. See, this is one peculiarity. See, if you have read about articles regarding Pakistan, see, one thing you often notice is that, see, whenever international diplomats and everybody refers to India, they will be using the term New Delhi. When they talk about US, they will be using the term Washington. When they talk about China, they will be using Beijing. But when they talk about Pakistan, they will be using Rawalpindi. But Pakistan's capital is Islamabad. But the Pakistani military headquarters, GHQ, is located in Rawalpindi, and that is the real author of the Pakistani foreign policy. And the Pakistani military is the real author of Pakistan's policy towards India. So what we really need is a communication line between India and the Rawalpindi GHQ, and that could be established by SCO. So again, when you are writing answers regarding India-Pakistan relations, SCO is a point that we must bring. Then again, Pakistan is blockading India's land route to Afghanistan and the Central Asian republics, which is again an issue that India can raise at the SCO, which is again something that SCO can help India with. And China can again play a major role in that. So China wants SCO to promote its Belt and Road Initiative, its connectivity with the Central Asian countries and all. And for that again, China really wants India to join the Belt and Road Initiative. That is one thing that really China wants. The Belt and Road Initiative will be deciding the future of China. The Belt and Road Initiative is all about the Chinese dream, making China the most prominent power by the 2014 end, and it cannot be done with the help of India, and that is why China really wants India in the Belt and Road Initiative. And again, and China wants SCO to further its regional ambitions. So sort of India can sort of make a deal with China. If China can get Pakistan to open up the land route connecting India and Central Asian countries, as well as if China can solve the boundary disputes between India and China, we can join the Belt and Road Initiative, and that can radically alter the bilateral relations between India and China. And that is the only way that we can achieve the Asian century. And that is again one real big dream of the SCO. And right now the problem is that although we have proposed and we have developed the Chabahar port, see, the issue is that when we are using Chabahar to trade with Afghanistan and the Central Asian countries, there are heavy transportation costs involved, and products from China and Pakistan will be relatively cheaper in the Central Asian markets due to the fact that they have geographical connectivity. That has been one major problem. So there is no alternative, there is no real alternative to getting a land route through Pakistan. Then India, again, when it comes to India-China relations, SCO will be having a major impact. So now many have said that China will be regretting adding India to SCO, because India can again use SCO as a platform against China. But when Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he met with the Chinese President Xi Jinping during the Astana summit of 2017, what Modi have proposed to the Chinese leadership was that India and China should respect each other's core concerns. India should not interfere with the core concerns of China, and China should not interfere with the core concerns of India. If we can continue in that kind of a path, although we have many issues between each other, we can continue in a positive bilateral relationship. See, for example, for China, the core concerns are its strategic interests, its connectivity with the Central Asia, again its relationship with the Pakistan, Xinjiang, the Tibet issue and all. These are the core concerns of China. India can respect that core concerns, but when it comes to India, the core concern is terrorism, or mainly the Pakistani-sponsored terrorism. And China needs to support India on that issue, and Xiamen Declaration announced during the recent BRICS summit is a positive change during that factor. So in the Xiamen Declaration, 3 Pakistani-backed terror groups were explicitly named in the Xiamen Declaration. Networks like Haqqani Network, Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed was explicitly mentioned in the Xiamen Declaration. So here you can see India and China respecting each other's core concerns. And if we can go on that path like the Prime Minister Narendra Modi have suggested, we can achieve inch towards miles, again another motto made by Narendra Modi towards India-China diplomatic relations. But one major problem regarding SCO is that now China is trying to get Nepal to join SCO. See, Nepal doesn't have a membership in this sort of a huge international organization. So China is trying to get Nepal to join SCO. Again, China is trying to use Nepal as a bulwark against India. So that will be a major problem for India. China is trying to improve Nepal-Tibet connectivity. It is trying to build roads and other railway networks connecting Lhasa, the capital of Tibet, to Kathmandu, and this is going to be a major problem for India. We have an open border with Nepal, so this will be a major security concern. So that is one major issue India has with respect to SCO. If China brings Nepal to SCO, India can't really oppose it also, because we have that kind of a friendship and cooperation with Nepal, but that will be again used against India. So that is a major concern. So that's all about the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Again, we can get a questions in the mains examination like how will India's recent membership in the SCO affect our security and political interests. So that's all.